So you just marched with thousands of people over the bridge. How's it going so far?
I think it's outstanding. It's an extraordinary moment because we put aside our political differences, we put aside all the other differences that keep us apart. Today we stand together.
I think it's essential that we stand together, unified against anti-Semitism and bigotry in all its forms. I'm so grateful that thousands of people marched today.
Well, I think this was a great march, and it showed the world that we're fighting anti-Semitism. And that's what New York's all about. New York is all about that.
Well, this is a tough moment, but an important moment for all of us to come together because the rise in anti-Semitic hatred and incidents is deplorable. We've all come together, people of different faiths, people of different racial and religious backgrounds, to denounce it, to stand with our Jewish brothers and sisters, to say enough is enough, cut it out, and we're going to work together until we bury anti-Semitism in the ground, never to be seen again.
It's not part of my team usually, but we had like a whole conversation Friday.
Let's catch up at some point.
I also, I got the left to make this sign as well, you know, because there's a whole series of J. French.
Oh, yeah.
So, Councilman, how happy you are to be marching with thousands of New Yorkers.
This is a beautiful and important day to be marching together with thousands of people standing up against anti-Semitism and for a New York where everybody can pray as they please, live as they please. It's great to be out here. Great to be out here with our Congresswoman and thousands of others.
Look, I think it's a very meaningful day. I think that it's a special day, honestly, when the broader Jewish community is recognizing the anti-Semitism that is generally being targeted towards the Frum community, and they're standing up and saying, hey, we want to support you, we want to be there for you, and we need to welcome that support and embrace them. And I think it was really heartwarming to see so many people from so many different backgrounds who don't honestly agree on everything, but they agree that what's happening is unacceptable. And certainly, in the Frum community, we're grateful for that support.
Now, as for state troopers, do you think it's going to be a long-term plan in Brooklyn, Manhattan, and all that stuff, or is it just a band?
We need more security. You know, there's no question about it, and it's a proven method. The reality is that the more security you have, the better off you are. The governor has provided more security and has brought in more folks. The mayor has brought in more folks. But the answer is we need more, and we definitely need a long-term solution. You're absolutely right, to make sure that the message is clear, which is that if you try to do something, people are going to stop you. It's not good enough to wait till after and then say, let's solve the crime. Let's stop the crimes from happening before they happen.
And I'm here, obviously, to support the fight against hate, anti-Semitism. You know, it's easier to attack Orthodox Jews than it is other groups because we are so demonstrably Orthodox. And I think that is a major reason why the attacks are happening on us in the streets, while with other groups, except for obviously minorities, these things are happening in their places of worship. Because if you want to find a Christian, it's tough to find one walking the street because they're not demonstrably Christian. So you have to go to their churches in order to attack them directly. But for Orthodox Jews, this is happening to us every day, and that's the fear that we have. Now, one second we could be walking down the street, and the next second we're being attacked and injured, maimed, killed, and people are scared.
Now, what message would you give to the institutions that are still not arming up and, you know, making their buildings secure, making their homes more secure, and institutions? What message would you give them?
There's really no excuse anymore. There's money now from both state and federal government to do what you need to do in order to make your places safer. Our children need to be protected, our families need to be protected, and there's never an excuse anymore. The excuse that somebody else is going to do it for us just doesn't cut it in today's day and age. Even though it took only 2 minutes for the police to arrive at the horrific attack in Monsey, if somebody had actually been in the room, maybe nobody would have been horribly injured.
Well, it was a beautiful march with a lot of hope and a lot of forward thinking about what our city is about. And it's about making sure that our children know that they will be safe, but that they also will learn to live with people of all different backgrounds, all different faiths, all different ways of life. And it was so great for me to march today with my son Max and my son Miles and my wife, because it's also a teaching moment for the kids, letting them know that they march over the bridge and interrupted the views as part of the New York tradition. So this is Miles, and Miles just went through the bridge, and this is Maxwell. and we marched together. So I'm very excited.
Right now, what do you think the long-term goal will be from the NYPD and the state police?
We have to make sure that we protect our community and people aren't feeling legitimate concern about safety. But we also have to educate kids, and we have to continue to reach out, and we have to continue to build the bond with all different groups of people who have been faced, that have been persecuted, people who have also faced hatred and racism, bigotry. And today we stand with the Jews, but tomorrow we will stand with any group that meets the same anger and hatred. And that's what this theme is about, and that's why I'm so proud to bring my family here. And so many young kids came here today. It was really very powerful.
It's a very important expression of the people of New York, that all the leadership of New York was here, that this is not a Jewish problem, this is society's problem, and that it's imperative that they take responsibility. We have an obligations as well to make the issues known, to let people know what the problem is. But every society that has allowed Jews to become victims paid the price for it. So it's in their interest, in the interest of all of us, that this Jew hatred stop and stop now. No more excuses and no more exceptions.
I think it went well. These are always great show of support, quality way to show unity in a time of darkness. And we have to call anti-Semitism out by name for what it is and push back. And in fact, we have to call out all bigotry and all hate. And so the intergenerational, interdisciplinary, everything that walks across that bridge is a show of what I want to call the true New Yorkers. And we gotta do it. That's the only way. You know, Dr. King said, you know, darkness can't push out light, only light can do that. I mean, darkness can't push out darkness, only light can do that. Hate can't push out hate, only love can do that. So that was a great show of love, and that's what we need.
And how disappointed are you when you hear people constantly blaming the right, the left, the center, instead of just blaming the culprits that are responsible for hate, whether it comes from...
I think we have to be direct at the cause, and hate has always been around. I don't think it's robbery, though, to point out that there has been a rise. I think that rise is in response to it now sometimes being okay in a way that it wasn't before to espouse these hateful things. And we have to call that out as well. But we have to get to the root of the ignorance and what brings this ignorance about. And it's just strange because fear does a lot of weird things. We want to make sure as we're moving forward on not just fear, but actually what's getting to the root of this thing, and make sure that people not just tolerate each other, but respect and really show honor to other people's cultures and religions.
Now, on the mental health issue, where's the $1 billion that Mayor de Blasio has been talking about for years that he allocated? Where is that money?
I'm very concerned about how this city and this administration has dealt with the mental health crisis. I don't think we've done well. My office has put out a report to that effect, and we're looking forward to see what this year brings with the changes that they've proposed. And until then, I think we just have to keep holding them accountable.
Thank you. It must be like the third week in a row that unfortunately you have to come out.
4 Sundays. I've had 4 Sundays. Four. Four. It's been 3.5 weeks since Jersey City, and then you know the spate of attacks in Brooklyn. 12 we've had since December 23rd, and then the horrific stabbings in Monsey. And I was at that community that night, Monsey Shabbos, into the morning, and the community's reeling right now. The visibly Orthodox community is very scared, feeling very targeted, and people need to be made aware that this community has been under attack now for an extended period of time. I think in the last few weeks, there's been more and more visual on that, but I think we need to now just let this kind of rally happen. This needs to be an ongoing support of the community that's being impacted the most.
Now, what are you
upset about the bail reform situation? Clearly, if someone steals a pack of gum, it's different than if someone assaults somebody and it's a hate crime. And we need to know that there's a difference there. Just letting someone on the street after they assault a Jew, like it happened just last week, cannot be accepted. It must be pushed back on.
And will you be going to Albany with other leaders to fix this bail reform mess?
We're in conversations right now with a lot of leaders. I'm not sure exactly what our next steps are going to be. I know our CEO Jonathan Greenblatt has spoken out very, very strongly against the lack of bail, being issued to these people that perpetrate hate, especially hate crimes. And I think we're going to do everything in our power to stay with our community to ensure that people are not back on the street after committing hate crimes.
I am Jewish and proud. I am so proud to be joined by so many colleagues, friends, and residents from the tri-state region in support of the beautiful, wonderful Jewish people. We're a people of resilience and of strength. And today is a day to reinforce and reaffirm that love and commitment to Jewish pride and Jewish faith in our community. We will never back down. We're never going to be afraid. We say no to hate. We're in this together.
What would you like to see from within and also from the law enforcement side?
Well, number one, today is a day to show solidarity and to also say that hate crimes against any community are not normal and not acceptable. We have to make sure we have adequate security in our city, but I think the long-term answer is education. And as chair of the Education Committee, I already have meetings set up with the Chancellor of New York City and other stakeholders about curriculum that reaches the broad ranges of our school system to make sure that we teach about the Holocaust and what led to the Holocaust. It pains me when I read studies that show so many young people don't even know what Auschwitz means, what it is. We must be teaching these core subjects in our schools. It's critical, and we have to have a holistic response. Hate crimes, for example, should also be added to CompStat to create localized accountability and transparency. So again, there's short-term measures and there's long-term measures, but today is a day of solidarity and pride that we're in this together.
Incredible. It was, watching some of that footage, it moved me to tears. You had fathers and sons and grandfathers, all of this tremendous community, particularly in light of all of the terrible stuff that is happening. It was one of the most powerful things I've ever seen. And you got 90,000 people in that stadium, and everyone was there just to share joy and faith, and no problems, not a single problem. It's incredible. It's incredible.
How do we trickle that down to regular other faiths, other New Yorkers, to just be civil?
I know. We talked about a lot of this, is starting early. We're seeing this happening with young kids. We need to engage the families and the parents. It's unacceptable. We need the mayor, we need the governor, we need every leader to speak out. And today, as